Konnichiwa minaboku wa Jeremy desu. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. And welcome back to another React video. This is right following the second semifinal of the Eurovision Song Contest. And let me tell you, I am shocked. I'm shocked that Georgia didn't make it in. I'm very surprised given the hype of it. But, and I was definitely more wrong on my predictions this time than I was on semifinal 1. A lot of people were kind of saying that semifinal 2 was not going to be as difficult as semifinal 1. I found semifinal 1 easier to decide who was going to move on, but watching the performances in semifinal 2, there were some really, really standout ones, and some that I kind of figured I knew right off the bat Greece probably wasn't going to make it in, unfortunately, but we'll get into that. So we have the list. I'm sorry it's kind of weird looking on here. It's very blandish, but they don't have like the official graphic out yet. So the winners moving on to the grand final in order are Albania, which I'm very, very excited for because I really didn't think they were going to get in. A lot of people were sleeping on them. They were an adorable family. I was sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, if they don't get in, I know there's a lot of people kind of thinking that they're not going to. If they don't get in, at least they're all there, their family all together. They can support each other. But they got in and they were the first ones to be announced, which was awesome. I just hope Albania isn't stuck in the first part of the grand final. It'd be really nice to see it switch up and have them go into the latter part, because in previous years, I think they started the show or were like second or something, but it'd be nice to see them in the second part. But amazing. I'm so happy for them, and I'm so glad that I was wrong in my initial reaction video. I had said that I thought that it was going to be Armenia, Romania, Estonia, Belgium, Cyprus, Poland, Georgia, Austria, Lithuania, and Australia. Many of those actually did get in. But anyway, continuing on. Cyprus, figured it was going to happen. At first, I was a little unsure because watching his performance, he was pitchy in some parts, but the staging was beautiful. Oh, the waterfall. They don't realize it yet, but the waterfall belongs to me. Every water feature in the world belongs to me. That's an inside joke. But yes, absolutely wonderful. I had no doubt at all, like going into the contest period, that he was, I knew he was going to make it into the grand final. So, to me, it was going to be between him and Greece. But it turned out to be Cyprus. And we all know that Greece is going to send their points to Cyprus anyway. So, but now Cyprus has to choose who they're going to send their points to, I guess. Because usually they send it to Greece, don't they? Isn't it like I don't know. I'm just kidding. But I'm not entirely sure, but I've heard that's what happens. So we'll just go on that. Estonia. Now, this was another one people weren't really sure on, and even I was kind of back and forth on it, but I mean, her vocals have always been amazing. She had the player piano, which did it for me. I was so happy. They kept going back and forth between her and the piano. It was amazing. I loved it. I'm so glad that they did that. And her vocals were so good, so powerful, so strong. She did really, really well. Belgium. I believe I said before that it was going to either be Belgium or Denmark, and I was right. Belgium took it. Denmark, Riley seemed really nervous, actually, I would say, but being the first one out there, it can happen. And his vocals didn't seem that great. He sounded like he was pulled back, and it's probably that nervousness that did it. Belgium, though, Gustav gave it his all. They had the dance, the duck dance, is I think it's called. I know it from RuPaul's Drag Race, but I'm sure it's been around for a longer time than that. But awesome job. They had the whole crowd going. It gave a different vibe because it was between Estonia and Cyprus, and I mean it broke up that kind of slower song sort of feel, and I think the crowd was vibing with it and really enjoyed it. So I'm not surprised that Belgium got in. So we'll see how they do in the grand final. I kind of think it's going to be a lower tier song, like more towards the 20s, but we'll see on the night of. After Belgium was Austria. I mean, we knew this was going to be the winner of the semifinal. The girls kind of gave almost a pulled back performance, though. To me, it didn't feel as energetic, and maybe that's because they were trying to conserve their voices, and their voices were really, really good. I know in the rehearsals, people were questioning that one part. At least it pays to be funny. I still don't know which one is which, Taya and Selena, but whoever it was that says that line was a little off in the rehearsals. But again, rehearsals are rehearsals. That's what they're for. And they knocked it out of the park. They had the harmonies down pat. The dancers in the background were doing their thing. And of course, they had all the dancers on the screen. I like that at the end, all the dancers' images came together and made Edgar Allan Poe. Sorry, my hair is all over the place today. It's like I didn't put gel in it, so it's like kind of, yeah. Anyway, very, very well done. And I mean, we knew that Austria was going to make it in. The other one I really wanted to make it in was announced next, and that was Lithuania. Monica, absolutely stellar performance. I love Stay so much. I did a cover of it actually recently. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. I'm so happy she's in there. Very soulful song. Another one that stands out, from the rest of them. And I'm so glad. Now, the next one is Polarizing. I think there's going to be probably some backlash here as to Poland getting in over Georgia. Now, there was, of course, controversy in the beginning with how the Polish delegation or how Polish song was chosen. A lot of people think that John should have been in there with Gladiator. However, this performance was super polished, very well done. Again, the song stands out because it's got a reggaeton style beat to it, a reggae beat. It's a summer bop. She knocked it out of the park. I think she's also been capitalizing on the meme, the baby thing that's been going around, and it worked in her favor. So Poland made it in, and you know what? It's good performance. Again, I was kind of meh on the song. It's still not one of my favorites, but I could see why they made it in. Australia, another one we knew was going to fly in there. If this happens to be Australia's last year, even for a little while, what a great way to go out on, and a great way to end the second semifinal. Very energetic song. They pulled it off really, really well. The lead singer could have interacted with the crowd a little bit more, but he did go back and forth and kind of interacted with the band like Måneskin did, like Damiano. And it was a good premise, having the car there and starting out with that. And I still love that part where they have the little keyboard and it sounds neon. I know it's a weird way to describe it, but I can connect with that part of the song. I don't like the screamo part. That's just me, but hey, you know what? I'm really glad for them. They love Eurovision, you can tell, and any artist that really truly loves what they're doing and puts their all into it, it's amazing. And I love a show. They put on a great show. Armenia, again, we knew Armenia was going to make it in. Beautiful, beautiful performance. Like, it starts off so just amazingly grandeur and just but at the same time pulled in, and she's got that nice kind of tilted stage with the beautiful lighting and stuff around her, and then boom, she's doing her big part and the rap part, and just the song comes together very well. To me, it's not as disjointed as Israel's song kind of feels, because Israel's kind of feels like it's in three or four different songs put together. But Armenia's works really, really well as a full thing, and I'm happy for them. The biggest surprise for me, honestly, was Slovenia. I knew that these guys had a huge fan following, but so did Latvia, so did Malta. I was worried they were going to fall victim to what seemed to be happening in semifinal 1 with the boy band curse. Obviously, San Marino fell into that, but San Marino, unfortunately, Peak Jacks was not the favorite for a long time, and it's unfortunate because they did a really good performance. They had a great staging and everything, but Slovenia really came and they did it. So congratulations, boys. And that, honestly, I thought they were going to call Georgia at the end, but they called Slovenia. So very surprising there. I would say that was the shock of everybody. Said there was going to be a shock announcement in semifinal 1, but really there wasn't. Everybody in there you kind of figured was going to be in there. I would say that Georgia not qualifying was probably the biggest shock of this year's Eurovision so far. Now, I was worried about it going into it because of the English element of it and the fact that they had her on stage by herself. There was some neat effects with the screens, I liked that, how they had the screens kind of not all in a row. They had them in different places and kind of on what do you call that? It's not straight, but it's oh my gosh, I can't. I'm trying to think of all this stuff and it's just coming to me. getting all disjointed, but tilted. There we go. The screens were tilted and at angles, and that looked really good. But I think having her on stage by herself for that song didn't work as well as when they had in the music video and performance the other dancers and stuff in there. That really added an extra oomph element to it. But her vocals were really, really good. I'm just honestly shocked that Georgia didn't make it in with that song. Now I know there's going to be Twitter's going to be up all over the place. All the fans are, that's going to be the big thing there. Denmark's probably going to be another one that people are upset about. I just didn't feel Riley's performance. And again, I think he was just nerves and stuff. You know, he's a polished performer. This isn't going to hurt him at all. It's just the song was way too like, I don't know what you would say, too studio run, and there were elements where his voice wasn't where it should have been. I think had his voice been a little stronger, then he might have had more of a chance. Romania, that one surprised me because I knew it was kind of a, you know, small chance of him getting in just by what they did before, but they changed the whole element of the song, and his vocals are amazing. They did change the beginning part of it a little bit too. I think it was way more like pulled in, relaxed, him playing the guitar, but it did kind of feel a little disjointed too, a little boring at that part, and then he gets into the other part, and but it was a good song and a solid performance with just a little bit of disjointment to it overall. I kind of think that the original performance that they did with the national final worked a little bit better. Who else? Iceland. I am sad that Delia didn't make it in. I didn't know she was a power lifter. I was watching the postcard and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. She had so much energy. She was throwing herself all over that stage. She was singing on her back. She was like hunched over. Do you know how hard it is to belt out that kind of power while you're hunched over or on your back? That alone should have won it for her. Her being on stage by herself was always a gamble though with this song, but I mean, she knocked it out of the park for me, and I am sad that she didn't make it in. That I really, when I was voting, I voted for 3 specifically. I used all my 20 points that I could vote for. So I did 8 for Austria, 7 for Lithuania, and my remaining 5 for Iceland. That was just my choices. Whether or not that made a difference, I don't know. But Iceland was, I'm just sad. Excuse me. That kind of came out of nowhere. So I'm sad about that. Greece, I mean, I think I remember saying before that Victor, I was really worried because, first of all, his English pronunciations at the beginning just, and even throughout the song. And that, I mean, that shouldn't really matter. I liked seeing all the Greek letters and stuff up on the screen as well, too. There was some awkward stuff on the screen, like his face didn't, it looked very AI, and it was just, it wasn't quite like the same sort of thing that, Israel gave us, you know, when Noah's up on the screen and just dancing with the unicorns. This looked really weird and just, again, disjointed. But the whole song, like, he felt like he was a little off. I think he was nervous too. He was doing his best, again, by himself on the stage. I don't know. It was an okay performance, but I just, as I was watching it, I'm like, I'm sorry, man, you're not going to make it in. I could just tell. It's kind of sad. San Marino, again, as we mentioned before, like, I hate saying this, but they were just never really in the running, it felt like. I kind of wouldn't feel surprised if they were like dead last ultimately, like when the whole thing is done and they finally release all of the numbers and stuff as to who came what and what place and what the scores were. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if San Marino was in the very, very bottom. I hate to say it, but you know, that's kind of, I don't think that that's a not shared agreement. I think a lot of people kind of think the same thing, but we'll see. Sorry, my camera's bouncing around again. And then, like I said, Georgia is probably the biggest surprise, biggest upset of all. And I'm really interested to read people's reactions and stuff on the videos that are going to come out on people's reactions. So, but yeah, Georgia not going into the final is a big surprise. So, okay, so now we have the grand final coming on Saturday, which I'm super, super excited for. Let me get my list out here. So we have the big 5, of course: Italy, Spain, United Kingdom, Germany, and oh my gosh. Okay, Germany, Spain, France, United Kingdom, Italy, and then the sixth one, Ukraine, of course. Joining them from semifinal one, we have Croatia, Moldova, Switzerland, Finland, Czechia, Israel, Portugal, Sweden, Serbia, and Norway, all absolutely deserving to be in there. And now joining them, finally, Albania, Cyprus, Estonia, Belgium, Austria, Lithuania, Poland, Australia, Armenia, and Slovenia. That's our Eurovision 2023 contenders in the grand final coming on Saturday. My reaction won't be until later in the day because I work that day and during the time that Eurovision's on, but I'm super excited to see what happens. And I still think that Sweden's going to take it. Just with when you add in the juries, I think compared to Finland, Sweden's going to get a much better jury score. But we'll see what happens. If not Sweden, it'll be Finland. It'll be one of those two. I mean, there are dark horses, but that's my firm stance is it's going to be Sweden or Finland. But I'm still holding out for Sweden myself. Lorene, love you. I have a show on Fridays on 92.5 FM in Kamloops, British Columbia. You can stream it live at thex.ca or via the TuneIn or Stream It apps. Look up CFBX or 92.5 if you want to hear Eurovision music. It's every Friday from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time, and it's called the Vision of Eurovision. So check it out. It's an hour of Eurovision music. And yeah, I will see you guys on Saturday. Let me know what you think below as to who like, are you surprised that Georgia didn't make it in? What were your biggest upsets? What were your favorites? And I'll see you on Saturday for more Eurovision.